Hey 49ers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Chat Sports, and today, let's talk about winners and losers from the 49ers 2020 NFL Draft. Who on the current roster benefited from the NFL Draft and also lost from the NFL Draft? This is fascinating to me because I think a lot of stuff went down kind of behind the scenes in terms of who benefited and who lost in the NFL Draft. Let's go ahead and start with the first loser in Solomon Thomas for our 49ers. Listen, Thomas was gearing up to potentially have the best shot to resurrect his former first-round draft grade, his former really hyped-up career with DeForest Buckner being traded away. Remember, San Francisco traded away DeForest Buckner, and Solomon Thomas plays not only inside, he can move around outside as well, but he's never really been the player we expected him to be when they were taking number 3 overall a couple of years back. He was geared to go ahead and assume the Buckner role alongside Ronald Blair, and then they went and drafted Javon Kinlaw, number 14 overall. Listen, Kinlaw's snaps are going to take a lot away from Thomas's snaps. Kinlaw's going to be an absolute beast for the 49ers. I think he's going to be a monster on the inside, and that takes away from Solomon Thomas. Not feeling bad for Solomon Thomas at all. Best player should be in there, and that's Javon Kinlaw. But if you want to talk about a guy who in his entire career has 93 tackles and 23 quarterback hits and only 6.5 sacks as a 49er, it's just, you almost feel a little bad for him that this was going to be his real chance to go ahead and be a starter on the defensive line and get a lot of reps at least, maybe not a starter, but a lot of reps on the defensive line. But in trust Javon Kinlaw at number 14 overall, a guy we really didn't expect San Francisco to take over like CeeDee Lamb, but they did. And Kinlaw is probably going to go ahead and not only take the starting defensive line spot, but not give it back. He's going to take that D tackle spot, and Thomas is going to see even fewer reps because of Ronald Blair and because of the other backup defensive tackles on that roster. This starting four for the 49ers, to prove that I'm not feeling bad for Solomon Thomas, just saying that he is a loser in all of this, is stupid good. Bosa, Kinlaw, Armstead, Ford. That front four coming after you is as scary as it gets in the National Football League. In my opinion, it's the best front four in football. I can only imagine that they could maybe be better than they were last year. Kinlaw is projected to be an absolute star at the defensive tackle position for as good as DeForest Buckner was, and he was worth the 13th overall pick and worth the contract extension the Colts gave him. I'm so excited to have Kinlaw in there, but he will take away a little bit from Solomon Thomas going into the 2020 season. Now, who will have more sacks in 2020? Quick ad break here on YouTube for you guys to think about this. Will Armstead or Kinlaw have more sacks right now? Again, defensive tackle, no, we don't have a ton of sacks overall. I know Armstead had a good year last year, and Thomas, of course, had, right about 10 sacks, Kinlaw had 6.5 sacks last year. Who will have more for the 49ers going into the 2020 season? Type A for Armstead, type K for Kinlaw in the comment section down below. Another loser here for the 49ers, this one to me is very, very easy. It's Dante Pettis. I mean, Dante Pettis, again, was he gearing up to have a big year? Probably not, but he was at least going to see his touches go ahead and increase until the 49ers went ahead and drafted a wide receiver in Brandon Aiyuk, number 25 overall. Aiyuk is not only going to take his wide receiver snaps, he's also going to take his kick return snaps as well, because Aiyuk was a great kick returner in college. I think this goes ahead and not only dooms Dante Pettis' snap count and his playing abilities, I think he's probably going to be cut by San Francisco as we get closer and closer to the 2020 season. And it's for the reasons you see in front of you. 11 catches, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns, 9.9 yards per catch as a 49er in 2019. I know he had some injuries, but really, he fell out of graces with Kyle Shanahan. They didn't trust him to be a wide receiver, at least starting in this offense. They went Kendrick Bourne, they went Trent Taylor, like they went different routes instead of the young receiver in Dante Pettis. And Aiyuk trots in here, catching 65 balls last year in college, 1,192 yards and 8 touchdowns. He's just going to be a better pro. And he's obviously, gearing up to not only be a starter in this 49er wide receiver depth chart, but he's going to get a lot of touches as well. Hurd comes back. That's another little hidden, rough patch there for Dante Pettis, because Hurd's expected to be 100% healthy, and I think Jalen Hurd is going to have a lot more catches, especially across the middle, than Dante Pettis was going to have. I think this not only hurts Dante Pettis' snap count going into the 2020 season, but the drafting of Brandon Aiyuk is probably going to doom him from being a 49er going forward in the future. Will he be cut? I think so. If you agree, type Y down below for yes. If you don't, type N down below for no. Again, you got Bourne, you got Pettis, you got DeeBo Samuel, you got Jalen Hurd, you have Brandon Aiyuk, you have Trent Taylor. I think that the odd man out here is Dante Pettis. He's a loser in all this. He's going to go ahead and be cut. Now, speaking of the rookies in Brandon Aiyuk, do you want a brand new Brandon Aiyuk jersey? Well, we know the place to get them. It's chatsports.com/49ers1 is all your favorite NFL draftees in terms of our 49ers in this year's NFL draft. Their jerseys are ready to rock. Again, chatsports.com/49ers1 is the place to go ahead and get not only home but away jerseys as well. All authentic NFL Nike stuff. Always authentic here at Chat Sports, so go ahead and pick one of those up right now. And I mentioned some losers, and there are probably some other cases for other people who are losing out after the draft. But there are some very clear winners after the NFL draft as well for our 49ers, starting with Ahkello Witherspoon. Yes, Ahkello Witherspoon is a winner in the entire draft process because the Niners did not address the cornerback spot at all in the draft. Now, they were right to not address the cornerback spot. That's the good move. But the winner here is Ahkello Witherspoon, who, of course, lost his starting job about midway through the season to Emmanuel Moseley, and Moseley never really gave it back. But Witherspoon can retrain this offseason and re-enter the 2020 training camp for our 49ers and have an open competition. I don't think they're going to just declare Emmanuel Moseley as a starter. He's going to compete with Ahkello Witherspoon, and even though I think Moseley will start a cornerback, there's a very real possibility that Witherspoon can go ahead and win back his starting job. You compare their stats to 2019, kind of similar, although Moseley obviously more tackles, almost double the amount of tackles, same amount of interceptions, and basically the same amount of passes defended. So overall, it's anyone's guess who's going to go ahead and be the cornerback of the 49ers going into the 2020 season, but if they would have drafted somebody, Witherspoon gets bumped down that depth chart a little bit further, and yet now he kind of remains there as cornerback 3, competing to be cornerback 2, opposite of Richard Sherman. Now, YouTube algorithms tell us a lot of things about what you guys like seeing here at the 49ers Report, but it also tells us a lot of you guys, almost 90%, almost 80% I should say, of our 21,000 subscribers do not click the notification bell. Now, you're saying, Thomas, what does that get me? Well, YouTube doesn't always show you whenever we have a brand new video out on YouTube in terms of your subscription box. So if you want to be notified, and you probably do because you subscribe to the channel, then go ahead and click the little notification bell right next to the subscription box down below. That way you're notified whenever we go ahead and do live shows, do mailbags, which we'll do later on this week, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So go ahead and click the notification bell. That way you guys are notified whenever we're going to go ahead and jump on here on the 49ers Report. Okay, final winner. And this one might be a little obvious. It might not be obvious, but I wanted to throw it in here. It's Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo had a crazy good weekend, and he didn't do anything. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo might have had the best weekend out of a lot of quarterbacks in the National Football League. It's very simple to explain why. It started with rumors of Joe Staley going to retire, and that would have made things very bad for Jimmy Garoppolo. Staley did retire, and then the San Francisco GM John Lynch says, don't worry about it. We're going to go out and trade for one of the best left tackles in the National Football League and give up basically nothing to do so. They trade for Trent Williams, and they get him a new weapon as well and get rid of a bad weapon in Marquise Goodwin. Jimmy G has got to be one of the happiest guys around right now. But before we get into the whole Trent Williams, trade thing, like this video if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a Pro Bowler in 2020. He had a pretty decent season last year. There were some better quarterbacks in the NFC. Obviously, that's why he didn't go. But if you think Jimmy G is going to be a Pro Bowler in the NFC in 2020, give this video a thumbs up. I mentioned the great weekend for Jimmy Garoppolo, and it all centers around this Trent Williams trade. I mean, good Lord. The Redskins get a 5th and then the 2021 3rd. That's it for what is going to be an anchor at the left tackle spot. And now, again, got to re-sign him and restructure his contract, and hopefully he goes ahead and plays because he didn't play last season. I think he's going to do all of that. The starting offensive line went from being very, very good to being even better for Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers. Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson, Richburg, Daniel Brunskill, Mike McGlinchey. If they stay healthy, that's one of the better offensive lines in the entire National Football League. That's a great, great, great thing for our 49ers quarterback and Jimmy Garoppolo, and a great thing going forward for his future success, because a lot of players and fans of the 49ers want to see him duplicate and be better than where he was last year. That way we can go ahead and put to bed all those rumors of, when Kirk Cousins is going to be a free agent in the future, that's who Kyle Shanahan wants. Not with this offensive line. I mean, Garoppolo's going to ball out. Plus, you did give him a new wide receiver weapon, and your wide receiver depth chart with Hurd coming back, and then, of course, with Brandon Aiyuk being a part of the roster now. I mean, he's got pretty darn good wide receiver weapons. I said they had to address this, and they did. If I was Jimmy Garoppolo, we're talking about winners and losers here from the 49ers draft. Jimmy Garoppolo had a fantastic weekend, despite the fact he did absolutely nothing. So hats off to not only Garoppolo, not only the newest rookies here on the 49ers, but also to GM John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan for yet again killing the offseason and setting the 49ers up really to be in contention yet again going into the 2020 NFL season. All right, all the time we have for today for the 49ers Report. I am Thomas Mott. We go ahead and sign off. Stay safe. You're sitting at home. Just, relax, enjoy it. It's not going to last forever. Hopefully we'll be out and about sooner rather than later. Again, for Chat Sports, I'm Thomas Mott signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.